Hey guys, Philosopher here, and today I'm going to talk about whether or not that you should build heroes for hire. I'm getting so many questions about what to do with this team, and I've got to tell you, obviously you can see I'm building them up as big as I can. My bottleneck right now is these G13 uniques, which are shared between Iron Fist and Colleen Wing. Something that Scopely really needs to fix, by the way. Of course, they aren't because they know that it gets us to buy offers for them, right? But I'm obviously getting ready for this team. I do think that this team's going to completely transform the Alliance War meta. It's why I've held off on redoing my War Offense and War Defense tier list for this patch because I just know that the meta is going to shift so dramatically once Misty's in the game. But the question is, should everyone be building them? And I got to tell you, the answer is very much no. And I understand it's tempting to want to buy every character for some people, or at least to try to build characters, because everyone's going to get some shards of these two characters in a blitz. And so there might be this thought like, hey, I've got the full team. Why shouldn't I build them up? Well, I think you have to understand some context here, okay? So I am literally, guys, I am literally in a diamond alliance right now. And so I am the sort of person that they're trying to build this team for, put this team in to try to get us to buy their offers. That's what Scopely does, right? It's all about making money and that sort of thing. Kestrel was their gift to everybody, and I made all these videos about how this is a gift, and it is for the free-to-play players. Skeleton is, in many ways, a very nice thing for free-to-play players. This is so anti-free-to-play, so anti-new player, mid-game player. This is a luxury kind of team. Now, some people are saying maybe it'll be a legendary unlock. I have no idea. Neither do they. They're just speculating. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I don't know. But in terms of how much gear to put in, how hard to go on this team, the reason I'm going hard on this team is because I was in DD4 6 months. I was literally in DD4 6 months ago. I completed it like 5 months ago. I have tons and tons of gear sitting around. I mean, if you look here, I've got tons of gear just sitting here waiting to gear up characters. I was a hoarder for so long that now that I'm in this level where I'm trying to compete with people who have 7 million TCP more than me, it's I'm able to compete. But that's not something you should just emulate. You have to do what's right for your roster. And in my opinion, this team is only should be built up high by a very limited group of people. So here's my thoughts on this one, okay? Should you build heroes for hire? So first of all, are you done with DD4? That's the first question you should be asking yourself. If you're not done with DD4, you should only use spare gear on heroes for hire. And here's what I mean by that. People are like, who has spare gear? I'm sure I'll get a bunch of comments on YouTube. Who has spare gear? I don't have spare gear. Well, everyone has spare gear of some variety if you've been playing the game for more than a few weeks. Whether it's green gear, blue gear, orange gear, or it's not orange gear, but green, blue, purple. Everyone's got some level of gear that you just have so much of, right? Well, even if it's just green at this stage, that you could put on it. So my point is, I don't mind if you're working on DD4 and you're like, well, I have a lot of purple gear. Throwing some purple gear on these characters is fine, as long as using the gold and the training mats on them isn't going to hold you back elsewhere. Okay, I don't want to have a situation where you're stuck in getting through DD4 or you can't gear up Kestrel or whatever you're trying to accomplish. That's more important. Uh, and because you blew it on bringing up Luke Cage. Okay, it doesn't make any sense. Now, the other question is, do you care a lot about Alliance War? Because I'm going to tell you something. This is a very Alliance War centric team. Okay. Yes, you could use Colleen Wing on one node in skill in the Doom Raid, and she's helpful there. Yes, you'll probably be able to use Misty Knight on the Tech Boss node in a Doom Raid, and she'll be helpful there. But that's some really niche stuff. Pretty much this is a team that runs best as a team. It's going to do the best in Alliance War on defense. So you're not even going to play this team. It's just going to sit on defense. So you have to really care and be competitive in Alliance War to care about building this team. Then the other question is, do you have enough gear? So, in other words, even if you're done with DD4, you're like, yeah, I unlocked Doom a month ago. If you're choosing between gearing like Silver Surfer or Kestrel or gearing up the X Factor or the X-Men, whatever team that is important that you're working on, versus gearing up this team, I would pick that other team any day of the week, because a team like X Factor or X-Men or Shadowland are going to have more use elsewhere. Okay, so Shadowland, for example, is going to have Night Nurse is going to be so vital in every node of the Doom Raid, or X Factor is good in every game mode. X-Men can be useful in every game mode. Those are characters that you're going to get more use out of than a war defense team that is of limited value outside of it. So to me, really think about whether you could spare the gear and how much can you spare. This is a team that may be okay at any gear level. We don't know. It may be okay enough at G11, G12, G13. We don't know. It depends on your level of war where you're at. But think carefully about whether you could spare the gear on this team. And then the other question is, can you spare the T4s? I mean, I had a video talking about some of the information the devs gave me that I thought was misleading. And one thing they said is that this is a team that they think does well at 6664, is not T4 dependent. They count only 5 essential T4s. I count 8. Okay? So, that would be my take on it. And you really want to make sure you have enough T4s to do well on this. I guess, from my perspective, if you're really choosing between T4ing, let's say, Kestrel, or T4ing this team, I would T4 Kestrel or some other character like that. And then really the bottom line here, what I would just say to any player, whether you're a new game player, mid-game player, whatever you are, the bottom line is, to me, they're a luxury team. They're meant for endgame players in highly competitive alliance wars. Now, you may be saying to yourself, well, it's easy for you to say that you're in an endgame alliance, and you're a whale, and this and that. Why are you telling me this? Well, I just want to I think it's important to have some perspective here. I don't want anyone to fall into a trap that Scopely's setting for you. We all know they're going to introduce this team now. It's going to be super powerful in Alliance War. It's going to transform the meta. Then they're going to introduce a sort of counter in 3 months and an insane counter in 4 or 5 months. And then the team, that's the end of the team. So we've seen this before, whether it's Red Skull Hydra or Asgardians or whatever. Teams that used to be so unstoppable in Alliance War defense do get power crept over time. So what you want to do is be mindful on whether or not you really have so much resources that you can take on a luxury team. And I really regard this as a luxury team that is not going to be carrying you forward in the other game modes, is not going to be important most likely in DD5. Obviously, if it's needed for a legendary unlock, you can have the stars and then just gear them up to just what you need to unlock that legendary later on. But I wouldn't count your chickens or believe too much on rumors or speculation until you know for sure. All right, guys, if you like this video, smash that like button, subscribe to this channel, and obviously check out my Discord that's linked below, and also check out my Twitch stream that's linked below as well.